Hello everyone, and welcome to the Middle Ages channel. Today we're stepping back in time to explore the life of one of the most vital figures in any medieval community, the blacksmith. Forget the romanticized images from movies for a moment. The reality was a life of intense heat, deafening noise, and incredible skill. Blacksmiths were the engineers, the manufacturers, and the repairmen of their time, and without them, medieval society would have ground to a halt. Their forge was the heart of the village, a place of constant activity and transformation. So, let's fire up the forge and hammer out the details of what it was truly like to be a blacksmith in the Middle Ages. First, let's talk about the smithy itself. It was far more than just a workshop. It was a sensory explosion. Imagine a dark, smoky building, the air thick with the smell of burning coal and hot metal. The centerpiece was the forge, a brick or stone hearth where a charcoal or coal fire blazed, its temperature reaching over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Crucial to this was the bellows, a large manually operated air pump. Often worked by an apprentice, the bellows would feed a constant stream of oxygen into the fire, making it roar and reach the temperatures needed to make iron malleable. The rhythmic creak and whoosh of the bellows was the heartbeat of the smithy, a sound that meant work was being done. Next to the forge was the anvil, the iconic tool of the trade. This massive block of iron or steel was the blacksmith's workbench. It had a flat face for general hammering, a tapered horn for shaping curves and rings, and various holes like the hardy hole for holding specialized tools. The sound of a hammer striking red-hot iron on the anvil was the defining noise of the village, a constant ringing clang that could be heard from morning till night. It was a sound of productivity, of tools being made, of plows being repaired, a sound that meant the community was functioning. Scattered around would be an arsenal of other tools, hammers of all shapes and sizes, tongs to grip the blistering metal, chisels, punches, and drifts for cutting and shaping holes. So, what did a blacksmith actually do all day? Their workload was incredibly diverse. A huge part of their job was supporting agriculture. They forged and repaired plowshares, the iron tips that broke the soil, as well as sickles for harvesting and scythes for mowing. They made the metal rims for cartwheels, horseshoes to protect the feet of vital draft animals, and all the nails, hinges, and latches needed for buildings and furniture. When a farmer's tool broke, it wasn't thrown away. It was taken to the smith for repair, a crucial service in an age where metal was precious, and every tool was an investment. But their work didn't stop at the farm. They were also the local hardware store. Every nail used in construction, every hinge on a door, every lock and key that secured a home or a chest, came from the blacksmith's forge. They made cooking utensils like pots, pans, and tripods to hang over the fire. They crafted fire pokers, candle holders, and other household items. If it was made of iron, the blacksmith was the one who made it. This made them indispensable. A village without a good blacksmith was a village at a significant disadvantage. And, of course, we can't forget the more martial side of their work. While a specialized armorer would create full suits of plate armor for knights, the local blacksmith was often responsible for making and maintaining simpler forms of arms and armor. They would forge arrowheads for archers, spear points for soldiers, and blades for daggers and short swords. They also repaired chainmail, painstakingly replacing broken or rusted rings. In times of war or unrest, the blacksmith's forge would glow late into the night, churning out the tools of defense and conflict. Their skill could mean the difference between safety and vulnerability for their entire community. Becoming a blacksmith wasn't easy. It required a long and arduous apprenticeship. A young boy, often as young as 10 or 12, would be sent to live and work with a master smith. His early years would be spent doing menial tasks, cleaning the smithy, fetching water, and most importantly, operating the bellows. This wasn't just grunt work. It was the start of his education. He learned to manage the fire, to recognize the different colors of hot iron and what they meant, from a dull red to a brilliant white-hot. This was a critical skill, as heating the metal to the correct temperature was key to successful forging. As the apprentice grew stronger and more knowledgeable, he would graduate to using a sledgehammer, working alongside the master in a process called striking. The master would use a small hammer to indicate exactly where on the hot metal the apprentice should strike with the heavy sledgehammer. This required perfect timing and coordination. A misplaced blow could ruin the workpiece or, even worse, injure the master. Through this rhythmic, almost dance-like process, the apprentice learned the feel of the metal and the force needed to shape it. Only after years of this training would he be allowed to pick up the master's hammer and begin forging his own pieces, starting with simple items like nails and slowly progressing to more complex objects. The life of a blacksmith was physically demanding and fraught with danger. Burns were a constant risk. A stray spark or a moment of carelessness could result in a serious injury. The intense heat of the forge, especially in summer, was grueling. The deafening noise could lead to hearing loss over time, and the physical strain of swinging a heavy hammer for hours on end took a toll on the body. Blacksmiths were typically strong, muscular individuals, their bodies shaped by their trade. It was a life of sweat, soot, and strength. Despite the hardships, the blacksmith held a respected position in medieval society. They were highly skilled artisans, and their work was essential to everyone, from the humblest peasant to the lord of the manor. They were often more prosperous than their farming neighbors, living in a decent house, sometimes attached to the smithy itself. Their unique skills gave them a degree of independence and status. In a world defined by land ownership, the blacksmith's capital was in his tools, his knowledge, and his own two hands. They were a cornerstone of the local economy and the social fabric. The next time you see an old iron gate or a handcrafted tool, take a moment to appreciate the skill and labor that went into it. That object is a direct link to the world of the medieval blacksmith, a world of fire, iron, and incredible craftsmanship. They were the practical problem solvers, the creators, and the innovators of their time. They didn't just shape metal, they shaped the very world around them, one hammer blow at a time. The ringing of their anvil was the true soundtrack of the Middle Ages. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the blacksmith's world. If you found this interesting, please hit the like button and subscribe to the Middle Ages channel for more deep dives into the past. Let us know in the comments what medieval profession you'd like us to explore next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.